Welcome to Waking Up America, the Not Morning Show. Today's news, Antifa is back to burning cities again, and the media ignores it. Let's talk about this while we still can. I'm your host, Alexander Graves, the Constitutional Conservative. If you guys enjoy this content, please consider following us on Twitter at AmericaWakeUp. We put timely news updates up there as well as memes, and I hope you guys enjoy them. If you guys would like to support this content before we get into it here, head over to buymeacoffee.com/wakeup. It is not just a cup of coffee. You guys can donate there as little, as much as you want, or subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get into the content. Alrighty. So, Cop City. This is a city, it refers to Atlanta, down in Atlanta, Georgia. They're building a new police station there, and Antifa does not like that. Let's get into it. Chaos erupts in Atlanta when rioters set police cars on fire, launch fireworks, and hurl rocks. A protest against fatal police shooting at the future Atlanta Public Safety Training Center has been nicknamed Cop City. On Wednesday, police fatally shot activist Manuel Esteban Paez Terán. The 26-year-old staged a protest at the future site of a planned public safety training center to be constructed in a southeast Atlanta forest. This is the forest that Antifa has been occupying. Terán, who called himself Tortuguita, reportedly refused to comply with law enforcement, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, basically their FBI. Terán allegedly shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper at Entrenchment Creek Park. Other law enforcement officers returned fire, struck Terán, and killed him. You know, it's a great way not to get shot. Don't shoot at cops. Just throwing it out there. All right, back to it. Protesters held a sign that read, "They can't kill us all." Pretty sure they can. And trees give life. Police take it. So this new branch of Antifa lives in the forest, pun intended. It makes me wonder. Back in the 60s, we called the hippies tree huggers, and they weren't really violent. But things have gotten so extreme that people have pushed the left and right to its boundaries, and it makes me wonder if in the 60s, if they were tree hugging, what are they doing to those poor trees now? Frankly, it makes me worry about all the splinters. Yeah. All right, back to it. Protesters held signs there were also chants to stop Cop City, and if they build it, we will burn it. Okay, let's get into some of the footage. We have a lot of footage from the Antifa soy boys here. Let's pull this one up first. This one makes me laugh because they literally call it a peaceful protest. While there is a car on fire behind them, we saw this during BLM, we saw this during the Antifa riots, during the COVID lockdowns, CNN. Oh, it's a peaceful protest. There's a car literally just on fire right behind them. Fire's peaceful, apparently. Also, important note here. The First Amendment only supports peaceful protests, not violent ones. It supports your redress of the government for grievances and your right to peaceably assemble. The important word there, peaceably. Okay, let's get back into it. Actually, before we do, there's a funny meme here. It says specifically, this is the breakdown chart for reporters. If it's MAGA, it's an insurrection. If it's Democrat, it's a mostly peaceful protest. And we'll get into the political connection towards the end of this video.
We're taking you right now. You can see people running in opposite directions.
If you see
the other side
Aaron,
of that. Yeah, Tyler.
I do want to. Yeah, Aaron, we're far enough away. You'll see the officer right there with APD. He has what appears to be zip ties. We're not far enough down where we can't see if they've taken anyone into custody, but it did appear that they were ready to do that to try to calm the situation that's unfolding here. And as you said, this really a protest initially to try to protest what happened on Wednesday here, where they were handing out.
It's not a riot.
That vehicle's still up in flames here over at Andrew Young and Peachtree. And if you take a look over here, if you pan over, I want to show you. This is what they were handing out at the protest. So it was a largely peaceful protest where they just wanted what they're calling justice for so sorry. And right now. You'll see, basically, they want justice for him after the shooting that happened when the Atlanta police and the different law enforcement agencies were raiding the forest over there to try to basically clear out the forest after everything that was going on. We're all related to...
Note that there's no mention by this news reporter of any return fire. The Antifa members did shoot at the police, and this is what resulted in them dying. The cop is in the hospital perfectly fine because Antifa is limp-wristed and bad at shooting. So the media is, again, trying to just wash this again as, oh, it's peaceful. No, Antifa is peaceful. It's fine. We definitely don't have an agenda to push here. Let's continue. We have more footage from this. So let's get into it. Quote, as usual, cops are just tackling and arresting anybody they could get their hands on. Officers with AR-style rifles quickly showed up. You mean AR-15s. They're just AR-15s. They're not AR-style. They're literally ARs.
One person's being arrested.
Okay, we have more footage here. Before we get into this is what was posted. This is what encouraged them. So Antifa is a terrorist organization, and they're organized. This is what they did. Police murdered a forest defender. A forest defender. It wasn't murder. It was a justified shooting because he shot at a cop while disobeying the law. Wear black in mourning. Yeah, so this is Antifa's black bloc. Soy boys. Taylor Hansen posted this picture of the officer's vehicle that was set on fire, and we've got some footage of that as well, so I'm going to go ahead and play that.
An Atlanta police vehicle is on fire. Yeah, we should back up. Back up, everybody. Where those shots are from the car. That is actually kind of dangerous.
No shit, Sherlock. The vehicle on fire, the police vehicle on fire is actually kind of dangerous with ammunition cooking off. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you for that great observation. That's the media for you. All right, back into it. We have some footage here of Antifa failing to break a glass door.
Hey, can you guys
Hilarious.
hear us?
They literally can't even break in. Their wrists are so limp.
Trooper was injured in a shooting, and if you're taking a look at video now, I can hear it in my ear. That is just some of the moments that you could see that protesters are throwing bricks at what I believe to be the Atlanta police.
How many Antifa does it take to break down a glass door? This is embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for them.
The Atlanta Police Foundation. The Atlanta. Oh, hey.
Listen. Okay, this is what happens when you live in the forest and you eat tree nuts and soy, okay? You're not strong enough to break a glass door. Back to it.
That is just some of the moments that you could see that protesters are throwing bricks at what I believe to be the Atlanta Police Foundation. Oh, hey, turn around. Can we go back? Someone actually, it looks like one of the Atlanta police.
They're literally just throwing fireworks on themselves. All right, we have more stupidity here. More stupidity from these brainlets. They're literally throwing fireworks at brick buildings, trying to burn them down. The only thing they're doing is harassing the poor reporters there. They can't even break into the damn building. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Look how many rocks are there. Look how many rocks that took. Absolutely pitiful. All right, moving on. This is probably one of the funniest videos in here right now. This is Antifa being arrested, and they're just shouting, "I can't breathe." I'm sorry, if you can scream, "I can't breathe," I think you can breathe, lady. This is what happens, okay? Antifa, they're the children of the rich elite. They come out here, they've never had a hard day in their life, and then they throw temper tantrums and get arrested. Let's continue.
So you can hide it? So you can hide it? Make it quick so you can hide it? We all got it on video.
God, this is just so funny watching them struggle there. Hey, you know what's a great way to not get arrested by the police? Don't break the law. And better yet, don't violently protest. All right. So, as I was saying, these Antifa soy boys, are the children of the rich, the political elite, and the Democrat Party. Let's get into it here. Breaking news. Son of Democrat House Minority Whip Catherine M. Clark arrested for assaulting cop during Boston Antifa event. Now it says son, but I think I'm not the only one when looking at that photo, looking at this soy boy Antifa that says, sure that's a boy? I'm not so sure. Let's continue. Son of Democrat House Minority Whip Catherine M. Clark was reportedly arrested during an Antifa riot in Boston, Massachusetts, after allegedly vandalizing personal property and charged with assaulting an officer while resisting arrest Saturday night. Upon arrival, officers observed an individual defacing the monument with spray paint. The tagging read, "No Cop City," and ACAB, authorities stated. You're in the wrong city, buddy. Literally wrong state. What are you doing? The phrases are commonly utilized by anti-police Antifa activists, including the ones rioting in the Atlanta Autonomous Zone. So, as we know, the Democrats are heavily tied to Antifa. It's going to be really interesting, before we continue here, it's going to be really interesting to see, because during the COVID lockdowns, we saw Antifa was continuously rioting. They were using BLM as their useful idiots. Antifa was being used as useful idiots of the Democrat Party. And suddenly, after Biden got elected, it all just went away. They just stopped rioting. Wasn't that fancy? Now, they're rioting again, at least in small doses here. And if you're not aware, George Soros, other foundations had set up bailout funds, including Kamala Harris was involved in this as well, for bailing these people out when they committed these criminal acts. They basically just got revolving doored through the legal system and pushed out back to the streets so they can continue their violence throughout those protests. That's why nothing ever happened. And important to note here, we are seeing that Georgia, Atlanta police are actually out in force. And this is probably, Atlanta's a liberal city, okay? And they are out in force taking care of Antifa. One thing we did not see during the lockdowns, this was because the liberal governors prevented them from doing so. How many videos did we see of the cops standing by and doing nothing because they were not allowed to? Now, here's where it's important. During the elections, prior to, Antifa was standing by ready to riot if Biden had lost the election. He didn't, and they left. So they are useful idiots. They're following their marching orders. And right now, what's interesting is because Georgia, there's nothing going on. The Democrats are in power right now, okay? So I'm interested to see, are they actually going to bail them out this time? Or is it going to be more like what we see in most historical revolutions? After those armed, useful idiots get them into power, usually they're killed, but in this circumstance, they're just letting them go. It'll be interesting to see if they actually bail them out or not, because it would just be so funny to just watch Antifa just racked up into prison. We do need to engage, and we need to essentially authorize them as a terrorist organization. I believe there is a motion in the House to do that, and that will allow all law enforcement to engage and go after them, because it is an organization. As much as the media and the Democrats want to say that it's not an organization, it's 100% an organization with several splinter groups organized on Facebook and Twitter, just the same as Al-Qaeda does with their splinter groups. It's still a terrorist organization. It doesn't matter if it has one uniting front. But that uniting front is the Democrat Party, and they don't want that to come out. So, back to it real quick. I'm just going to finish up this article. Atlanta-based Antifa members took to the streets to throw rocks and light fires outside of Atlanta Police Foundation after now suspended Atlanta Forest Twitter account called for a night of rage following the fatal shooting of one of their members, 26-year-old Manuel. Manuel was killed by police after he allegedly shot an officer who was part of an operation clearing out Antifa-occupied autonomous zone dubbed Cop City. The officer was taken to an intensive care unit and treated, as I said earlier. Okay, important takeaway here. The autonomous zones. We've seen this up in Washington. The media does not report on it. So if you're not watching and looking at individual news here like Twitter through these individual journalists, you're probably not seeing much on it. But Antifa took over territory in the US. They are a terrorist organization. They literally came into our country and claimed it as their own, claimed it independent of the United States. Okay, they did the same thing down here in Atlanta, Georgia. They took that forest. They've been eating their tree nuts, living off squirrels, and being hippies out in the forest and doing God knows what with those trees. I don't want to know. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. I'm very curious to see now that they're not useful idiots for the Democrats. If there's even a word from the Biden administration on this, I'm pretty sure they're just going to ignore it completely and slowly have the police crack down on them. And honestly, like, Antifa, they're just so stupid. They're so stupid for being useful idiots to the Democrats here. They don't realize that they do their bidding. And that is hilarious. Before I leave you guys here, I have one more story. I would love to say that it's a white pill. I would love to say that it's funny, but it's more like a dramedy. It's more like a sad clown. Yeah, like a sad clown. Let's go and watch this, because it's just a train wreck, and you just can't look away. I don't even have to hit the play button. You're probably just your first thought is probably right, but let's get into it.
If you need a family, you can come hang out with me.
I'm gonna pass on that one.
They may not see the real you, but that does not mean that you're not real. I love you very much.
We're just gonna let that silence hang. Okay. Nothing says pretty than makeup and 5 o'clock shadow.
I'm gonna go cry.
Okay, you probably should. That's definitely a sign of mental stability there. Our country is going to hell. People are losing their minds. But you know what? The fire is rising. We will see justice. We will see a return to normalcy. I feel it in my bones. The conservatism will rise in this country, and we will take this country back. There will not be a fallen republic in our age if you as viewers wake up and do your part. We have a lot of work to do before the next election. Turn this country back. Look into ballot harvesting. Talk to your friends. Come at them as a friend and wake them up to this nonsense, because there is far too much going on in this world that is absolutely insane that most normal people will turn away from, but everybody is afraid to speak about it because they're worried they're going to be shamed by the masses, while everyone is thinking, oh my lord, this person is literally crazy. So speak out, speak your voice, make yourself heard. I will see you guys next time. If you guys enjoy this content, please go ahead and follow us on Twitter at AmericaWakeUp, and please consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/wakeup if you guys enjoy this content. I will see you guys next time. Keep around the chamber. Fuck Antifa.